Alrighty, so now is the next part. So we're going to be moving on from the time that I'm 17 and I'm just finding out that eye contact is a thing apparently that I'm not doing and I'm okay. I'll start with that. So eye contact came up when I was 17. It was like a guy that I was dating. Um, he said, I have hard time with eye contact too, but I didn't say anything to um, I didn't say anything to prompt that. It just came from out of the blue, like he just said it, and I wasn't looking at him. I was looking off and away somewhere else. Um, so this was the first time that I was aware that I didn't feel comfortable making eye contact. I didn't know it was a thing. Like people that I know that I'm really close to, like again, my parents, my siblings, um, some of my friends, I had better, like I would make eye contact with them, but it wouldn't be prolonged at all. I think it was very brief, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds. And I think I've watched other videos where it's like your eye contact is supposed to be 3 to 5 seconds. Any longer than that, and people get uncomfortable, and any shorter than that, and it looks like you're not paying attention or want, I don't know, something. I don't get it. But anyway, I would have to read about that again. See, I just knew that from this moment on, like, I did not know that was a thing. And I became consciously aware of it, right? Um, I wasn't conscious before if I was making eye contact or not, even. I just did things if I was comfortable and didn't do them if I was comfortable. Like the whole stimming thing. Like, I would sit there and just roll a ball of hair in my hands and not think anything weird of it. Like, or, touch my hair all of the time, bite my nails. Like, some people would be like, ew, gross. Like, but whatever. Like, I guess I didn't really mask that well now that I think of it, but it was like a revelation in my mind. Like, oh my God, am I doing this wrong too? Like, people want you to look them in the eyes. Like, that's so weird to me. Like, it feels so intimate. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. Like, why do we have to do that? It's such an intense, like thing. Um, at least to me, that's how I feel it. It feels really intense. In fact, like with my husband, when we met and we met at work, okay, and I don't think I did a lot of eye contact with him at all either. Like I, he was really bad at eye contact. I think. Oh boy, I just read, yeah, about the 3 second thing. I know I don't do that. I know I don't hold eye contact that long. I make sure to look at people's eyes more often, but I know I'm not holding eye contact like 1, 2. I know I'm not doing that. I know I'm not. I'm not counting. I'm not doing anything. I'm just like, I'm making eye contact. This is what we're doing now. I'm doing more eye contact. This is what people want. Um, but his gaze in particular, like, and we both have very neurodivergent traits. His gaze in particular, it's the color of his eyes, it's everything, it's the way that he makes me feel. It is very intense feeling, really intense. His gaze is so intense. Like the feeling, it is like, even that is hard. Like it's gotten way better because we've been together 6 years now. Like it's been so much easier to like look him in the eyes and like accept those like feelings that is like really overwhelming um because they can be fun and exciting you know but yeah, it was that was the first time I was aware of it. So um just like the hugging thing, like I was like, okay, I'm going to be better at this, but I didn't really learn how to be better. I just like made up my own rules about it. I don't know. I can't explain myself sometimes because some things I will deeply like research the heck out of and go hard on it. And other things I'm like, this is probably good enough. Like, not really know anything about it and wing it. Oh gosh. Okay. Moving forward. So by the time I was like at this age of knowledge that there's something that I'm not doing right and I'm trying to do things right, was at the um, end of high school. I was becoming aware of all these things. I'm 17 going on 18, sometimes 16 going on 17. Like I'm becoming aware of little tiny pieces of the puzzle, right? And so I would plan out conversations in my head before I have them. And it would go further than that. I would plan out the sequence of events that's going to happen. Like, I'm going to walk over here, and then this is going to happen, and they're going to do this. Like, I had planned details on how everything would go and what I would say. And if it was really, 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 really important, I would actually like write it out. I had a journal and a diary, and sometimes I would write it out. And I remember crumpling up those papers because I didn't want anyone to see them. I would throw those away. Um, but I would write it out, and sometimes I would practice it out loud. Like, how am I going to sound when I say this? How am I going to sound? What kind of tone should I have? How should I pause here? Should I not pause here? Because when I'm not saying a story and just like continually talking, if I'm thinking about something, like I'll pause at weird times right in the middle of a sentence because I know what I'm going to say, and sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a lot of reasons, but I know that I have a weird gait to my speech and my conversation. I know that I talk weird. I know that's a thing too. Like I know I don't know exactly like how else am I supposed to speak though? I don't know. Um anyway, I didn't want to get anything wrong or fumble over my words, but the thing is that like even if I practiced these things so much, it would still go not as I planned it. I would still fumble over words. Things would be unexpected. Mm, you know, very difficult with that. Another thing I did around this time, and I can remember, okay, in junior high school, I started trying to put on makeup because makeup is another thing that girls do to fit in, right? You gotta wear makeup, gotta wear a bra, you gotta shave, you gotta do all these things. And I felt really excited to start doing these things because I'm like, okay, I'm part of a club. I'm doing all these things. These are what girls do. You know what I mean? Like it was exciting to me to do these things at first anyway. Like I remember putting on blush and eyeshadow and everyone said it was too dark and I looked like a clown. That was part of my really tease and harass times. So I got really self-conscious about that and I learned I would sit there and practice how to do makeup and I got really good at it. And in high school, I would do my makeup the same exact way every single day. I wouldn't do anything different at all whatsoever. It was the same exact thing. And I didn't like the way foundation felt or anything like that. So I never put anything like on my skin to cover my face because I felt like I was suffocating. I would just put lipstick on and it had to be a certain type of lipstick so my lips didn't feel suffocated or lip liner. But it was a certain color. I would always do a certain color. So I would always hunt like they would retire colors so fast back in the 90s. It was crazy. And like this color is out this month, but in 2 or 3 months when you try to find it again, it's gone. But anyway, I remember even the makeup that I would use. It was Wet and Wild. It was the brown tones, like natural brown tones. And I would do my eyebrows and I would do my eyes and I would put on a little bit of mascara. And that was it. I think I did eyeliner too. I ended up adding an eyeliner at some point. And I know I still did blush too, but it was very light. I still do it the exact same way to this day. Um, if I wear makeup, which most of the time I don't because honestly, I find it a waste of time when I have so much other stuff that I'm doing and so much brain space is being taken up. But if I want to, sometimes I get that feeling like I feel like I don't look good and I want to look extra good for my husband. And even though he never says anything, he doesn't talk much, just like me. I understand him. He's very quiet. And he doesn't like, it's awkward for him. Oh, it's awkward for me to take compliments or give them, like receive them or give them. Compliments are crazy. I don't know what to do. Like, people can compliment me on what I'm wearing and I will be like, "Oh, I got it at this store and it has pockets." Like, it's just like not a normal. I don't think that's how people do that, but that's how I always react. Like, "Ooh, I got this at Ross," or, "Oh, I got this at a thrift store. Someone gave this to me. I got this for free." Like, um I'm always proud if something was a bargain and where I got it, because I love the store Ross. It's like a little hunting game, but there's a lot of people that that's a complicated thing for me. But I do love Ross's prices, and I love that you can find some really, really, really cool stuff for cheap. So yeah, my favorite thing to say, especially if it's a dress or a skirt and it has pockets. It's like, it has pockets. I don't know. It's just something I do. Anyway, compliments are really difficult. Um, and that's another really, really difficult thing. Um, So yeah, I would do my makeup the same. I would even have a certain perfume that I would put on that didn't irritate me, because like chemical smells, perfumes, colognes, some of them, like, immediately if I smell plastic with chemicals that are scented, it will give me a migraine immediately. So like scented trash bags, anything like that, I'm so hypersensitive to like scent like that. It's like nails in my brain. Um, but I would wear vanilla fields. That was my thing. It was nice, warm, friendly scent. It was very friendly. The smell. Oh my god, what's wrong? Okay. Um, I would not leave the house without having makeup on too. That was the other thing. And I would actually call it my mask or my face. I would put the makeup on and I would feel normal. Like I could walk around and people wouldn't know that I am who I am, because, I have my makeup on, you know. I don't know. That's a weird thought, but I remember thinking that and saying it. Like, again, I don't really care about makeup that much anymore. I've kind of given up. But here's another thing. Like, romance and dating was really, really, really hard. I cannot flirt. I can't pick up on flirting. I don't know the mechanism that makes it work. Like, I understand what people are trying to do and what it's trying to accomplish, but I don't understand the mechanisms of how it works. I don't understand how to do it. It feels unnatural and awkward. I don't understand flirting. Never did, never will. I can't even like wink right, because I know winking is the thing that people do to each other. Like, I think my husband is really good at winking. So he had winked at me a couple of times when we first started coming out, and it was like, I don't even know how to react to that. Like, that made a feeling. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just laugh and look away, because it's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't understand. Um, it's weird. Okay. Um, but yeah, I don't understand the mechanism for that. So, uh, like, it would take me having someone be like, that person likes you. They are flirting with you. And I would be like, oh, I thought they were being nice. Like, 'cause no one likes me anyway. Like, what are you talking about? I'm ugly and stupid and slow and weird, like, no one likes me. So it would have to be like extremely obvious, like them looking me up and down and being like, like, that looks creepy. See, I don't know. don't know how to human like that. I can't do flirting. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that suave, whatever type of smoldering, like it would have to be blatantly obvious, like, and them saying stuff on it on top of it, like, how are you doing today? Hi, hot stuff, like something like that, like really obvious. That's, but as I got older, I kind of learned patterns that went along with it. So I could tell, especially if I was hanging out with a person for a long time, like their pattern behavior, I would be like, oh, I think this person might like me. And so I would have to go as if I was a teenager and ask other people I know, like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. What do you think is going on? Like, I actually ask other people. Is that, whew, oh my gosh. I can't believe, like, having it that obvious and having me write all this stuff out is like, it's kind of embarrassing to me. It's really vulnerable. So I don't even know. Okay. Um, okay. So here's another thing. So when I was 16, my brother's best friend had an older brother, and he called me up and he was like, my older brother wants to go on a date with you. Do you want to go on a date with him? This was crazy. I think I was 16. I was like, oh, yeah, because he was attractive. And I was like, wow, um, this person wants to go on a date with me. That's crazy because, like, well, he didn't know me. He didn't go to my school or anything. And I remember him being a lot older. I think he was 18 or 19. You know what you were doing. Anyway, like, but I remember being like flattered and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go on a date with him. So he took me to a movie and he picked me up in his car and I remember thinking, oh, this music, like, it's a little bit loud. I don't know if I could hear the conversation if I try to engage in conversation. So I'm just not going to say anything. I'll be quiet. It was a great excuse for me. I was like, okay, he's playing music. He's occupied, whatever, whatever. Then we got to the movie theater. I was still really quiet because that's how I am. I don't know how to start a conversation. I don't know what to ask him. My mind's blank. Like, I just freeze up. Like, I would look awkwardly, smile, like it seemed like he was having a good time, I thought. But he didn't engage in conversation either. And looking back, I think he was really like um used to really chatty, talkative girls that were really flirty. And that's not me. I'm not like that at all whatsoever. And so, like, he bought our tickets. I don't even remember if we got popcorn or anything else. He may have asked me if I wanted a drink, and I would always turn stuff like that down too because I was like, I don't want to be a burden to people. So I'm not going to get a drink. You don't have to spend money on me, you know. I don't know why that was in my head, but that was a thing for me. And we watched the movie, which it's a movie. You don't talk during movies either. And then afterwards, we went straight to the car. He didn't like try to talk to me or like, oh, how was the movie? What do you think about this? I don't even remember what movie we saw. Like, that's how crazy it is. I just remember the feeling of like, we didn't talk much. And he drove me home and the music was on in the car again. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to talk. And the next day, my brother's best friend called and he was like, he thought you were weird and quiet, so he doesn't want to go on another date with you. And I was like, makes sense. Like, okay, that's just how that goes, I guess. Um, but yeah, and that's pretty much like, honestly, how like every romantic interaction went for a really long time, unless I uh got to know someone over the phone or I knew them through friends and we were all hanging out and had a kind of connection where it was easier for me to talk to them. That's usually how things went. In fact, I don't really know. Like, I still think about it. my husband and I were coworkers, and I think that's, that's where we like kind of like got to know each other and stuff like that. But it was, still don't know because we're both like, we would say not antisocial, socially awkward, or maybe antisocial too, because we really don't like casual socializing or being going to crowded places or going to bars or clubs or hanging out with people in general. Like we don't do that. We don't do that. We do very structured hanging out with really specific people who are actually all neurodivergent themselves. And like we cut each other off and we talk about really crazy topics and like, yeah, and have similar special interests. So that makes sense. Anyway, um I did live with a group of people that were mostly neurodivergent for a period of time. I know they were. A lot of them had diagnosis, not a lot of them. Some of them had diagnosis and talked about it openly. Okay. And I could relate, but I thought, since I wasn't diagnosed as a kid, like I'm not this. Like my doctor would have seen my, like I still wasn't connecting the dots at that point, like I am now. Okay. Um, I didn't use those terms too. I don't think we had neurotypical, neurodivergent, or maybe I just didn't pay attention, but I don't remember it being like that or knowing any terms. It was more like, oh, I'm normal because I never got like no one ever said I was anything, and they kept on saying I was normal. You're just shy. You're just quiet. You're just this. You're just that. You know, you're sensitive. I would get that so often. You know, so that's what I thought. But my special interest for cooking started in this house. Um, it was around Thanksgiving, and they were like, "Who's going to cook the turkey?" And so I think my boyfriend at the time nominated me, and I was like, "I've never cooked a turkey before. This is crazy." Like, okay, I'll cook the turkey. Like, I like food. I like food a lot, like a lot, a lot. I have a lot of things with food, like food, food, food. I'm very food motivated. I need walks to like become quiet in my body again. I need walks, and I'm very food motivated. Like I like pats on the head just by my husband. I have often joked like, you just need to treat me like a dog. Like I just need to be near you, get a couple pats every now and then. You take it for walks and give me food and treats. That's crazy, right? I recently saw like a book kind of referred to couples as if one is neurodivergent and one isn't, then treat them like a dog, kind of. And I was saying that myself. I know I joke about it. It's just me. It's just a joke in my own personal life. I would never tell other people to do that. That is kind of like rude, I think. But it's, it's so true for me. Really true. Anyway, like it was my task, my job to make this turkey. And I remember getting a cookbook out and following the instructions almost to a T, but I was adding in other things that I was like, this will make it extra yummy and delicious, and the white meat will be all moist. I'm sorry if anyone has word problems because I say a lot of those words, but anyway, I knew like I was really into making that turkey. That was my hyper focus at that moment. And everyone really loved it. It was a big hit. They were like, this is the best turkey I ever had. Everyone agreed. And I had never done it before. And it was the best turkey. Like I've had a lot of turkey. I love turkey. And it was really like, yeah, this turkey is really good. It is the best turkey that I've had so far in my life. And that's what sparked my like, I have acceptance through this. Cooking is now going to be my thing and my personality because I get acceptance through cooking, and it's how I can communicate to people. So I really, really, really latched on to cooking. I'm still very much into cooking. I love cooking for my family. But if I'm so exhausted, like really, really exhausted, it is hard for me, and it's hard for me to make all the decisions. And it's hard because like my Everyone has food things except for my daughter. My daughter is a lot like me, where she's a trash can and she'll pretty much eat anything. Textures might be a problem, but it's very specific and stuff that normal people wouldn't like. But all the boys, okay, my sons and my husband, all have food things other than that. And it's really bad with my sons. Like, I mean, my husband just won't eat like strawberries or fruit, especially fruits with lots of seeds. He doesn't like that. Um, but and my kids eat pretty healthy too. Like they'll eat vegetables, but they can't be cooked. They have to be raw vegetables. Um, and other than that, like, okay, this is really weird. My son this morning, not this morning, last night, I took one bite of the macaroni and said it's too cheesy. I made the macaroni from scratch with ziti noodles. It was really good. It's too cheesy. It makes me feel like there's spiders in my mouth. And I was like, okay, this is macaroni and cheese. This is like the safe food of all safe foods that everyone eats. And you're saying you're not going to eat it. Okay, well, what do you want to eat? You know, do you want a yogurt and a banana and I'll still give you garlic bread because he loves garlic bread? And you'll just have a bunch of like little snacks. And he opted for that and he was fine. Um, but that's the way that we're dealing with that now because it's like I can't be making 5 different meals. Okay? Like I'm not a freaking restaurant. I don't have a full staff. I can't do that. So they have to eat like things that are easy if they don't want to eat what I cooked, what is for dinner. And I try to do mostly safe foods that everyone likes. But like, who doesn't like macaroni and cheese, man? And then sometimes they mysteriously out of the blue either like something or don't like something that they previously liked. So that's difficult. But I understand that it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So we're trying to be more sensitive to that. Okay, this one is going to be really vulnerable. I might just skip that part. Okay, so anyway, yeah, me and my husband both what we all socially awkward and all of that. The way that we started the relationship, there it was like zero pressure. We were just hanging out. We just really enjoyed each other's company. There were no labels. We were like just friends, you know, type of thing. And we would go out and do things, and or watch things together. And of course that kept going and we had a few conversations that were like I was writing out the whole thing at a time, practicing it, doing all the things. But you know, eventually like it became we were together and then at 2 years we were engaged. At 3 years, wait, yeah, at 3 years we got married, and now this is 6 years later, like almost exactly 6 years later in a couple weeks. So crazy, right? And we get along really, really well. I remember our first argument was about how strawberry is not a berry. It's a false fruit. In case you didn't know, he was like, it's literally in the name, strawberry. I think it's a berry. And I'm not going to change my mind. He's very rigid sometimes. He's like, I don't care what botanist came up with what. To me, strawberry is a berry. And it's like, okay, but that's not how it actually is. You know what I mean? Like that was our argument. And I think that first time that we had that argument, it was after we were engaged. So it was like it was over 2 years that we had been together when we got into our first argument. And since then we've had arguments, but they don't really last that long. And we're very understanding of each other. Like we know we're just things are getting elevated, and then we're talking over each other, and we're you know, so we just stop. We just stop and we wait. Or we do this thing where we write everything out, and then we give the notebook to the other person, and then they can read it and think about it and make little notes here or there and then write out what they want. Like it works really well for us. That's what we do. But anyway, um, knowing that we have these neurodivergent traits was a thing. Like I became more and more aware of it. In actuality, like it was like I would see videos and I would relate to it, and I was like, so I have a lot of neurodivergent traits. I'll ask my therapist about it because she's a therapist. I'm not going to assume anything. And she said, yeah, you do have a lot of neurodivergent traits, but again, she wasn't a specialist, so she was just confirming, yes, I do have a lot of neurodivergent traits, but I was there for trauma related stuff anyway. So she was like, I'm gonna see PTSD, and PTSD can sometimes look like neurodivergence or cause some neurodivergent, like because your brain physically changes, so you have some changes in your brain. And I was like, yeah, but I'm always pretty much been like this. Like since I was a kid, pre-trauma and all that, I've always done these things. And she was like, yeah, I'm not a specialist though, so I can't really tell you. You should get tested because you do have a lot of traits. And I was like, oh, okay. I still didn't know what that meant at the time. I thought they would call me, I thought the diagnosis would be neurodivergent or yeah, isn't that weird? Like, I didn't know much about it. I didn't. Um, and like over the years, I knew that other things were part of the neurodivergent umbrella. Like, there's lots of diagnoses that are under neurodivergent. It's not just like ADHD and autism. There's a lot of different things. Um, Tourette's, other things where your brain diverges from the normal. Even being high or low IQ can be considered neurodivergent. So I just knew that I had traits. I didn't know necessarily what it was. And, and my kids, like it was becoming more and more obvious that they have like massive sensory issues, like a lot of problems with it, especially my son who like, he will hit his own head or hit his head into a wall and cry and hyperventilate if like he hears a repeating sound. So I had to get him like those little earbuds, like the loop earbuds and headphones, to like have him have a safe space inside our house, inside our own house. You know what I mean? Because like my other son, he is really go 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 all the time, and he'll sing the same line of a song again and again and again and again and again and tap his hand or do something, and so it drives my other son crazy. Like he was like, can you please not do that? I'm like, it's hurting my head, can you please not do that? And like they just don't get along. Their traits do not match. They do not get along. um, so it's like it's hard to create a safe space for them because we only have like so much room in our house. It's pretty small. Anyway, I because of all this, I got curious and I was like, okay, well, where do we fall? What does this all mean? I'm going to take a test that centers around neurodivergence and see what happens. So I found one, and like I decided this on my own. And then my husband comes up and he sits down, and I'm like, let's do it on him first. And at the end of it, it was like high traits, high number of traits consistent with autism. And I was like, whoa, because we were laughing at the questions. We were like, surely this is all like normal because our families and our friends, they're neurodivergent or they have a lot of neurodivergent traits. Like, I'm not saying they're autistic or ADHD, but they do have a lot of traits and we do have a lot of similarities. So being surrounded by people that were the same our whole life, we just thought this is normal. We're just not. I mean, like, we need to get over it. We need to be better at this. We need to be better at that. And then like the negative self talk that you have, that's how that is. Okay. The more I studied it, the more it was like, okay, this makes sense. But I'm still in shock. I'm still like, it's still hitting me that that is what autism is. Like it is the struggles with social skills, right? And you know, that means eye contact. That means knowing when people are flirting or joking or like those hidden context things that like, why? Just tell me. Just tell me what it is. Like, just tell me. Um, but it's still like, it's still hitting me that that's, that's what that is. Like, I just thought it was my personality. My whole life, I just thought that's part of my personality. And it is like that. I mean, but you know, it's also because my brain is wired differently. Um, but yeah, just recently, like about 5 years ago, I started hearing more about Asperger's syndrome. I still didn't connect the dots. My brother suspected of having, he suspected himself of having it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Um, you know, and I would see it in other people because I would notice some speech patterns or like more awkwardness like outwardly is more like apparent, that I would be like, oh, that person probably has Asperger's syndrome, not even knowing that they did change it and it is ASD1 now. And I do have a lot of friends that have that or ADHD or maybe a combination of both because they haven't been tested, but they're all like, those are the people that I talk to and hang out with if I do. And I don't really hang out and talk. It's usually like 3 to 6 months before I hang out with, in between hanging out with someone. Um, and like one day, and that's good enough for me. Like even though we're similar in all of that, okay. So I still am replaying old difficulties and old events and trying to like stick it in the data files in my mind. Like this is where this fits here. This is where this fits here. Oh my god! Like everything seems to be either linked to or caused by my neurodivergent traits. Um, Past traumatic events, like a lot caused by the way that I am. Okay. Um, I've always had a hard time. No, I already said that. There's like, yeah, like, I replay a lot of interactions like a detective. So I try to figure it out, like putting the pattern and the puzzle pieces together. Um, and I've had a lot of problems, like a lot of problems in the workplace, especially, and this comes back to the whole things not being fair or just. I would often walk out on shifts or have full blown meltdowns. And these could be in front of a bunch of people or just my boss. But like, okay, one time I worked at a TV station. I'm not going to say which TV station. Worked at a TV station and I wrote and produced a live morning show. I went from like the gopher, like the runner, um, and assistant to, hold on, I wrote it down. Yes, to assistant. And then I was the assistant to the assistant producer. And then, and then I was assistant producer. And then I think I got the title of producer after a while. Okay, so it was really complicated, but the way that it was, they were producing a live TV morning show, and I did all the work on it. I did all the like writing for the show. So like, I don't know if you guys know how that works, but even in a live TV show, like they'll have tiny little moments where it says banter here and you talk back and forth, like the hosts will talk back and forth, but everything else that they say is scripted and on a fucking teleprompter that's in front of their face. They're just reading what they're saying. Oh, and isn't that funny? This dog and this and that happened. Ha 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 ha. I wrote all that out. Okay. I wrote all that out. And And I got the audience members that sat in the audience, and I would get the guests for the day, and I would make up, like, there's so much that has to be done, but I did all of that stuff. I gathered the facts, I gathered the information, like, it was all me. So like I got exhausted. I got really exhausted. And I remember like we were going on hiatus, which means we were taking a break for like, I think it was a month hiatus. We were taking a break because it was every single week, or every single day, Monday through Friday, they had the live show go on every single day. So it was very high demand because it's live too. So there is a point in time. There's a deadline. There's a deadline. You have to have that script ready. It has to be in the teleprompter and ready for them to freaking read. And you have to have all the facts and the information so that art guy can make up like the graphics that go on the screen and everything. And like, it's a very high pressure job. So I got really, I got sick. I got strep throat. It was like the day that we were going on hiatus, the last day. And I felt so bad that I went to the hospital after I got off of work. Um, I just like collapsed for that whole entire month and didn't do anything. And that was actually the worst time I had strep throat too. Which I knew was because I was in a high pressure, high stress, like work environment, but you know, it was whatever. Anyway, um, they paid me minimum wage, by the way. They paid me minimum wage. So what happened was like three things happened simultaneously that just like did not end well. I had a complete meltdown. And it was number one, they weren't going to allow me to finish working on the show at home anymore. I would either have to stay at the studio or not take the laptop home and not work on it. And that stressed me out because I was like, well, how is the work going to get done then? Because, like, if I have to stay here until late at night to finish this, oh my God. And they also were like, and we only want you to work these hours. Like, we're not paying any of your overtime. Like, because that's ridiculous. We don't think it should take that long. It was only me. It was only me. I was doing all the work. I was doing all the work. They had different guys for different things, but guess what? Guess who was writing the freaking show? I was. I was. So that is crazy. And I got really bothered about that. And then on top of it, they gathered everyone together and they announced that the one of the hosts of the show, she was going to be the new executive producer because the executive producer for the show that I worked under, she was leaving that show and then going on to a different show and going to do something else, like going to have a new baby, you know, a little TV show baby. And I got so freaking mad. Like that's what set me off. Like I just sat there like frozen at that part, right? Like, okay, they're giving Shay a raise. I just said the name. Let's pretend that didn't happen. They're going to give the host the raise. Try not to say name. You don't know last name, so it's fine. They're going to give a raise. The host already made like twice the amount that I did already. Okay. And they had a car, they had per diems, they had freaking allowance for their apartments and stuff. Like it's crazy how much these people got. And I wrote the show. I wrote it. Oh my God, this still affects me. So like I was frozen. I was frozen in disbelief and I'm like, oh, okay. So I go home and it just stews and stews and gets bigger and bigger. So I went back to the studio and it was all over them. Like I was screaming, I was crying, I was saying how unfair it was, how I worked on the show for so long and I only get minimum wage. Minimum wage. And this is a major studio too. Minimum wage. Minimum wage. And they didn't even want to pay my overtime. Whoo. And like, so, and I was like, I'm going to take you to the labor board. Like, I'm going to call the labor board on you because there's no way you can't like not pay me my overtime that I've already worked. That is insane. I was like, get someone to freaking replace. It was like Jerry Maguire in there. Everyone was stood up just looking because they were like, Mariah's the quiet one. She doesn't say anything. She just does her work. she doesn't talk. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck is going on? And they looked very like they had their hands up. They're like, whoa. And I remember someone even followed me out. It was very Jerry Maguire like, that they followed me out to see like, are you okay? We'll try to get you your overtime. Don't worry about that. I'll talk to them. And I was like, I already talked to them. I already talked to you. I already talked. And it was just like, you're not going to get overtime. Meh. And I was like, so now they're going to have to deal with the freaking labor board because that's illegal. That is illegal. Like I always, that is illegal. You can't do that. It's illegal. It's a fucking rule. You know what I mean? Overtime and me, which there's another thing that I'm dealing with overtime right now. And rules and stuff like that. And like, I can't say anything about it. I can't say anything about it, but I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Oh, okay. So anyway, that happened there. And I've had other meltdowns too, where it was just like, that isn't fair. You lied to me. You said this would happen and it's not happening. And I would be crying. And, you know, and this was at like a restaurant job, but they would promise me certain things to happen, or they would promise that I would be off for a certain time. And I would just ask and sit there and be polite about it, and nothing would happen, and other people would go home first, like special days that I was supposed to be off, and I would lose it because they lied to me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, adults don't act like that. Normal people don't act like that. It's just me, but I lose it. Like I can't. There's no control. It's just coming out. It's just coming out because I'm. It's that upsetting to me. It's not fair. So anyway, um, let's see. I've always been overwhelmed by sensory issues. I have always had sensory seeking behavior. I used alcohol from like my teens through my 20s to like cope with social situations. So I thought I was better at socializing and doing this or that, but I was drinking. I was drinking. And then when I got sick of it, and then I decided I don't want to socialize. I don't really like, I like people. I like the idea of people. And I believe in equality and rights and all of that. And people are very unique and interesting. But I don't like hanging out with people. I don't like spending time with people. I want to be alone, if that makes sense. Like, I want to be with my husband. He's my security person. Like, he's good, but I want to be alone. I don't want to call people. I don't want you calling me. If it's communication, text me. And sometimes I won't get back to you because I just can't. It's too much. It's too much. Um, anyway, now that I don't socialize, and this was okay. So when I was using alcohol socially, I would overdo it all the time too. And I thought, oh, I'm an alcoholic. No, I'm not an alcoholic. I can have one beer or two beers with my husband and not want more, not have more. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, to me, I don't need it. You know, it's like something that, like, oh, I feel like having a beer and relaxing. I can do that. And it doesn't affect me, which I found really interesting. Like, I don't have a problem with it. It was really circumstantial, which everything, like they tried to say, like, you're depressed. My depression was circumstantial. It was only because of things that were happening at that moment. It wasn't like I have depression, like there's a chemical imbalance. It's a problem that I'm having currently. Anxiety was the same thing, and I explained it very clear to my therapist. I was like, it's not, I don't have constant anxiety. I'm not just anxious for no reason. I have situational anxiety. It's only when certain things happen or when certain things don't happen that I get anxious and anxiety, like, or if I'm in a very crowded environment, because I think it's just like I'm socially awkward, and I I couldn't really explain it, but that's how I explained it, right? It was very like, okay. So I have auditory. I'm gonna just probably go to. Hold on. Didn't go to college either because number one, money. Number two, I wrote all these out. I won't be on the spot. Money, the social aspects, the fact that most schools aren't set up the way that I like to learn, the repetitive nature, outdated paradigms, and the fact that you have to do prerequisites that are not interesting at all to me. And besides that point, like the things that I want to research and study, or I did want to be a veterinarian for a small amount of time. I go back and forth between these other things, but like there's not really much that I could do with all the random things that I want to learn except for teach. So there's really no point in me going to college. I can learn all that stuff on my own. I know how to look up real knowledge and ask people that are experts and do all that. I don't need college to do that. It is easy for me to learn on my own. Okay. So, yeah, I don't like going into public. I become overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, exhausted, and in physical pain by the time I get home from like the grocery store or something like that. And so when I found out that like about sensory issues, and this may be why, because I know that I'm sensitive to these things, but I didn't know like they stack and add up and like cause. I didn't know that like cause a, an effect of it, if that makes sense. I didn't connect the dots. I didn't know cause and effect of it. So I started wearing the loop earbuds going to the grocery store and not making eye contact. So I'm not masking as heavily at the grocery store and rocking if I want to or doing anything like that. Talking to myself openly, I do a lot. And then I don't feel as exhausted and I definitely don't have any pain when I come home. I'm still like frustrated a little bit and things like that, but it's not as bad. It definitely like worked. Like to me, like the first time I did it, I was like, this is like some kind of magic. Like this is crazy how different I feel just from cutting out the sound portion of it. Well, and not making eye contact or not forcing myself into like be a socially presentable person, whatever that means. Um, I have a real Pardon me, sorry. I have a real hard time focusing and I get really overstimulated with traveling too, especially through the airport. Oh my God, airports are crazy to me. I'd much rather jump in a car with my husband and I can drive anywhere, cross country, whatever. We're in the car together for hours, either listening to a story, talking to each other, playing music, just sitting in silence. That is comfortable to me. I don't and then yeah, you have to stop and get food or stop at a gas station to fill up, but you can use the card at the pump. You don't have to talk to anybody. And if you bring snacks with you already went to the store and have everything that you need in the car, like a little journey kit, then like it's so much fun because there's but I hate traveling, like if it's public transit and everything. Oh my God, that is crazy to me. Mm-mm. Okay. So I think I rewrote a lot of stuff out. I'll just go into it, into the actual the issues, the breakdown of the issues that I have. So number one, having social rep, rep, having trouble with social communication, the back and forth, the eye contact, everything like that, having deficits in these things. I definitely have always had deficits with social interaction and I just don't freaking understand why some of these things are even a thing. I don't think they should. I think neurotypicals are wrong. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why is that a thing? It always caused me confusion. I fit both categories in the DSM-5 of a uh, of Section A. I fit every single one of them, which you do. You have to fit every single one. I think there's 3 different sections. There's either 2 or 3, and you have to like fit them all, which I do. Like to a T. So then it's the second part of it is having to do with all the rest of it. So I do have sensory issues. I'm both hypo and hypersensitive, which I know that's contradictory and it presents in very contradictory ways. I don't get it myself. I don't know what. I've just always been like this. Okay, so pain to me is very confusing. Like a broken bone is like almost like nothing to me. Outside the initial break, it's really just the inflammation that is bothering me. And if the inflammation is controlled, like the broken bone itself, I remember I broke my arm and it wasn't swelling up or doing anything. I know it was broken though, because I, I was walking in a grocery store and slipped and um, I had my daughter in a baby carrier in front of me, and I had to put my arm up like this and cradle her head because I didn't want her head to hit the ground. So my arm hit the ground full force and broke. And but like I've always been really good at healing too. I don't know why. They gave me Tylenol or ibuprofen for swelling and inflammation. And after that went away the very first time, it didn't hurt after that. And so I had a cast that had Velcro on it, and I would take it off so frequently because like that's annoying. Casts are stupid, and like I would make excuses for it and take it off and not sleep with it on and a bunch of different things, but like it didn't hurt. Okay, broken bones don't hurt, but muscular pain, torn muscles, like organs, anything internal like that is so bad. Like period cramps, oh my god. Those are so bad. Like to me, the pain is unbearable and like Tylenol, ibuprofen, anything over the counter won't touch it. I've got the ginger gene, plus they're highly regulated on controlled substances now anyway, but any like medication pain stuff has never worked on me, always caused me to be violently ill. It doesn't take the pain away. So like I just go through it. And the period pain, it's in my lower back, it's in the front, it's on the outside. And it's way worse if I stand up. I don't have endometriosis. I don't have that. I've been checked. I don't have that. But it literally like it feels like everything's gonna rip out and it hurts so freaking bad I can't explain it. Um, Diarrhea cramps are always like really horrendous for me. Anything internal, soft tissue wise, I am hyper aware of my own body. Hyper aware. Light sensitivity. So if lights are too bright or too dim, it's a problem. It's a problem for me. I have to have lights at a certain level. It has to be like what my preferred thing is like shaded natural light. Like if the sun is out, the sun is too bright, and people say, "Oh, why don't you wear glasses then? Like sunglasses, just wear sunglasses." I put on sunglasses, and I feel like I can't see. Okay, I cannot see with sunglasses on. So don't tell me to put on sunglasses, or if you see me wearing them, I'm just walking around like half blind because I felt like people not seeing my eyes, or the sun was just too much for me at that moment. But I prefer hats, but hats feel really weird too. So finding a hat that like doesn't feel like it's suffocating my head or like bugs on my like painful bugs on my head is really hard for me to find a hat. I do have a sun hat now that works, so that's good. Um, Sound sensitivity. I can get overwhelmed by sound and I can hear every little sound. Like there is a jet airplane going across right now. I have my air purifier that sounds. I can hear the electricity buzz. Like this computer is really super quiet, but there's still an electricity buzz from it. I can hear everything like my kids, if they were here arguing in the next room, I could hear that. I could hear everything they're saying. But try to talk to me in a conversation and I can't hear what you're saying. And I don't know why this happens. I really don't. Like I can hear something far away, but if you're talking directly to me, I can't hear you. Why doesn't that doesn't make any sense to me. I have to look at people's mouths in order to read lips because my brain will interpret it like what you're saying and it'll either have delayed process or I won't be able to tell what you said at all. Like I can hear that you said something. I just can't understand what you said. Or my brain will make something up that's completely different than what you said. And I know how that sounds. Like it literally sounded that way to me. It literally did. I know you didn't say that, but that's what my brain came up with. Okay. So, and when I was younger, I had perfect hearing. Now, not so much. Like my high end hearing is going, and that makes it 10 times worse. Like, really, honestly. But also, like, if I hear the sound of metal on teeth, like, it feels like electrical pain in my mouth. Just the sound of someone else doing it. It's like it hurts me to hear that. The sound of metal. Sometimes it's a certain ting of metal, and it even just sounds like it's a metal on a tooth, and it will cause that feeling. It'll cause that. Mm. Smell sensitivity. Oh wait, no. Okay, so cars without mufflers is another big problem with me, and I get startled at unexpected loud noises like gunshots, fireworks, cars backfiring. I still jump. In fact, if this wasn't an unedited video, I could put in video where there was a gunshot and I was the only one that jumped. That's how that is, okay? That's just how I am. They're reflex responses and I can't help them, okay? Smell sensitivity, we already went over that a little bit, but I drive in absolutely crazy with like plastic chemical smells, perfumes, colognes. Like the worst is scented freaking plastic, like plastic trash bags. They'll give me an instant migraine. Like it is instantaneous. It's right now as soon as I smell it. Conversely, I enjoy some smells that other people find unpleasant, like body odor and stuff like that. Not everyone's body odor. Some people, it's like, ugh, I can't stand it. But my husband has a very nice smell. To me, I could smell him all day long. Like that is one of my favorite smells. And also like anything that's calming and relaxing and warm. I love like the smell of grass or rain or there's a certain smell of leaves on a I don't know how to explain. It's leaves on a fall day like in the morning. So there's a little bit of moisture. There's a dry leaf smell. There's a smell of ozone because of the air current and everything like that. It smells very specific. And I really love that. Okay. Touch sensitivity is another huge one for me. I think I went over it a little bit already, but I sometimes get the feeling of pain if something is touching me lightly. It it feels like my nerves are on fire. I don't like that. I can't stand tags in clothes. I always cut them all out instantaneously. They really irritate my skin and have that same feeling, that same painful feeling, the tags. Um, I don't like wearing what I call hard clothes. Okay, that includes jeans, most pants, things with buttons or straps, things that are restrictive or that I have to adjust, hard clothes. Like um, anything that touches my skin weird too. Like it's too clingy at loose at the same time, which I know is a contradiction. It's too clingy and it's also too loose. It's not holding me tight enough, but it's clinging and it's too loose. I don't under I don't know how to explain that any better than I did. Okay. Um uh or scratchy or off materials I don't like. Unexpected touches startle me and can make me scream. Again, this is a reflex reaction. This is not anything that I can help. Hugs from anyone besides my husband, which I went over in detail as well. Hugs make me extremely uncomfortable, and I do it just to be nice in social situations. Um, I do have less of a tolerance for my kids' touch, and I can get touched out easily from my kids, which in turn, that is such a hard thing. Like, I feel that makes me depressed and anxious and guilty and have all kinds of mom guilt because I'm touched out, but I want to be touched by my husband still. I want a hug from him. In general, I don't like massages, uh, especially deep tissue massages by anyone except for my husband. I mean, I don't like deep tissue massage from my husband, but he can give me massages. That's fine. And I like that medium to high pressure hugs or squeezes from him because tight pressure feels really, really, really good. Or scalp stuff, like pulling on the hair, but I don't like my hair. I don't like my hair. I like pulling like this. But if my hair feels like there's a few strands that are being pulled, that irritates me and drives me nuts. I have to um, I have to take a shower at least every other day, if not every day, because scalp oil, it is time for me to wash my hair again. This is second day. Like I took a shower the day before yesterday. Yeah, day before yesterday. Didn't take one yesterday. I need to take one today because the scalp oil will start making my scalp ache and hurt and itch. Like I don't even know how to explain it. How does it do that? I have no idea. I thought it was really weird myself, but it just, as long as I watch it, it doesn't ache or itch anymore. Um, yeah, but my scalp is super sensitive in that way, or if hairs are being pulled, but it's not sensitive this way. I can brush my hair with knots in it, or I can pull on my hair, and that actually feels really good. Like, really that feels really good. And that's another sensory thing that I do sometimes, especially if I'm annoyed, is oh, it's so relieving. Feels like relief. Um, let's see. So yeah, that drives me crazy. I can't stand the feeling of my hair feeling sticky or dirty at all. So most hair products I can't do. If it feels like there's something on my hair, no, it feels dirty. And I don't shave because shaving causes extreme sensory issues for me as well. I don't like the feeling of it. It's slimy. It it's it only removes your hair for your legs get dry, they get itchy, they get burny. Like within a couple of hours, you're gonna have those little pricky things grow back, and that feels crawling and off to me. And plus, on top of that, it doesn't make you any cleaner. It doesn't make you any cleaner. It actually allows more bacteria to grow. Your hair is there for a reason. Like, if you don't think that I'm correct about this, go and look it up. But it was just a ploy from the company Gillette who started this narrative because they wanted another consumer group. That's all it was. It was all money based, okay? And that was in the early 1900s that Gillette started marketing razors to women through shame. Like, you're going to feel extra clean if you use this. If you don't, then you're dirty. Like, before that, it was something that some women did. And this is going to be weird and controversial too, but go ahead and look it up. I'm telling you, it is true. Um, some women did shave, but it was prostitutes, and it was, you know, to seem prepubescent to their clients, or more prepubescent, more youthful, more young. So on top of it being like, they just want your money, it's not even good for you, right? Um, it's just that, like, how twisted is it that now this is the social norm and social standard, this prepubescent look. I don't look like a woman who went through puberty because I shave all my hair off like that. The thought of that is crazy to me. Um, and I get it. I know sometimes, like, some people have issues and touch some sensitivity to their own hair, and that's why they shave, and that's fine. Everyone has, you know, you can have your own opinion about shaving and do it, but that's the reasons. Like, it doesn't feel good, plus it's not good for you, and like, crazy. Okay, I can't even wrap my mind around that. Visual sensitivities. I don't like visual clutter. Right now, my room is driving me nuts. That's not my actual room. See how my hand can disappear? Um, Virtual room. My room, like, first of all, my whole entire house needs to be repainted on the inside because shit happens, or holes or whatever, right? Or you take something out. Like, I took a mirror off of this wall, and now there's like little uh, paint spots that are gone, and it's like, now I have to like sand and paint and do all this, but I don't have time for it. Um, anyway, any little visual clutters like that, or wires I call spaghetti mess. I can't stand the sight of wires. They have to be bundled together and wrapped with something and made to look nearly invisible, because I cannot stand wires and spaghetti mess. It is too much for me. Um, It makes me anxious, annoyed, overwhelmed, overstimulated. I think I like things that are in order and in a specific spot. And when they're not, this gets me, okay? I like them to be aesthetically aligned, like either symmetrical or like small to big, and like in color order if they have that as well. I like it to be very aesthetically pleasing. That makes my nervous system calm down. Or in alphabetical order if it's movies or books, you know, like, because if it's not, then you can't find it. Like, you know what I mean? It's so much easier if it's just in alphabetical order. Um, I don't like when people move or reorganize my stuff. I never did. And it's been brought up to me. There's this book that's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's about how to get over, like, little changes in your life. And I was like, that book is bullshit. It's not going to work for me. I know it's not. Um, I never read it. Uh, yeah, but visual clutter in my space makes me on edge, and it can send me into overwhelm, or be like another little thing that adds, so that when there's another little thing on top, they're like, why did you blow up over that little thing, Mariah? Well, because it's not that one little thing. It's all of these things, all of them. It's all of these things. And I like everything really organized and neat like that. And after this, I am going to clean my whole house because things are getting really out of hand in my mind. But like, my ADHD side of me, which I do think I have, like, I will be hyper focused on something, and then everything else just melts around me because no one else will keep up with it. No one else will. That's the way it is. Taste is definitely more on the sensory seeking side. I like extreme things with taste. I love flavors. I love crunch. I don't like grit, however. Like, if there is grit, like a sand grit or anything like that, it's freaking over. And I can't drink plain milk. Hot cocoa's okay. Chocolate milk is acceptable because chocolate, who doesn't like chocolate? Um, Dairy-free alternatives, I'm fine with drinking. I just cannot drink milk that comes from animals. Okay. Um, Emotions. Okay, so while not being able to pick up on social cues or understand certain things that are said or how to navigate social standards and norms, um, I can feel emotions and emotional shifts. So I won't know why they happened, or sometimes I will be able to figure that out. It's like, again, it's a whole detective thing and that type of thing in my brain, like a little game that I have to play. But I can feel emotions. Like if someone walked in a room behind me, there's someone angry in a room behind me, like I can feel it and no, and I turn around and like, of course, I can see their whole entire face. I know they're angry. You know what I mean? Like I'm often very, very sensitive to that. And people's emotions can override my own. Like I will feel people's emotions so strongly that sometimes it's hard to pick out if this is my emotion or their emotion, and I have to really concentrate on it. That's another reason why social situations are so hard, is because of that emotional bleed that happens. And I've just been always very empathetic, like hyper empathetic. Um, so if you're happy or you're sad or you're whatever, mad, frustrated, I get I can feel those feelings and they will start to become my feelings too. It's really, really, really hard. And this could be very draining and be very confusing. And yeah. Okay, presence. Presence is another thing. So other people, I'm aware that there are other people in my house. If it's my husband or my kids, it's not that bad. But if I have other people in the house, I do not feel alone. I do not feel like I'm in my own space. I can feel their presence, and it's another thing that I'm aware of. Okay. So we're going to move on to restricted or repetitive behaviors. Man, this is a long time. This is a long video. I am so sorry if anyone's watching. Still. Physical stims include twirling hair. I think I already went over all these. I twist in my chair. Let's see if I say any that I did. I'll just do all of them. Okay, so twirling my hair, feeling it, running it across my lips, hair pulling, rolling hair in a ball, and arranging my color and shade, stretching, twisting, swaying, biting in her cheeks, biting my tongue, skin rubbing. I also rub dead skin cells in the ball. It's like little clay. I know that's gross. Okay, don't judge. Skin picking, scratching, scalp pulling, scalp, listening to one song on repeat for hours or days and singing to it, watching TV shows on repeat, watching movies on repeat. Okay, so and this is a thing. I think I get into it another place. Where do I get it? Oh no, I do get it. Okay, so twist in my chair, stand weird. Okay, so I stand weird too. I interlock my legs when I stand, and I like the way that it feels. I crack my knuckles and neck frequently, and when I'm cozy, getting cozy, I do that thing with my feet and I rub them. I do also really love this magnet putty that I got, but other stim things or little fidgets, like I could do them for a little bit, but then get bored. Like my stims are mostly my own physical body. So other repetitive behaviors, listening to the same song on repeat for hours to weeks, watching shows on repeat. For example, I've seen House MD, the whole entire series, probably I know more than 20 times. I was thinking it was more like 50 or even above that, but like to be on the safe side, to be honest, it was like I've watched it over easily over 20 times. Watching my favorite movie and over on repeat, Lord of the Rings trilogy, I've watched easily, easily. It's been out for a long time, people. Over 300 times. I'm not even joking. I can, uh, I've seen it 3 times, like each movie at least 3 times in the theater. And I've played them on repeat at home. That means like when the movie is done, I just restart it, right? And I've had it on VHS, extended on DVD, and special edition Blu-ray set because I like Lord of the Rings, okay? I like the books. I've read those over and over, but it's been a really long time, so I might should read that again. The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight. I've watched that easily over 100 times. Like I would play that on loop as well, watching it over and over in a row. And another example is the movie The Burbs, which was on repeat for an entire summer one time. That is the only thing that we watched. We would watch that, rewind it because it was a VHS, and then push play all over again. The Burbs. I can probably recite the entire movie word for word. That's how much I know that movie. Um, I have certain movies that I watch every time that I'm sick too. In this exact order, I will watch Superbad and then Outbreak. I just do that. Those are the things that I watch when I'm sick. And Outbreak has a weird reason to it. I mean, like it kind of makes me feel better to know that I'm not dying like that. Like that's fictional and they're really sick and I'm not that sick. So I will be fine. Like that's, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I go about it. Okay. And if I find good food, I will eat it over and over. If I find a good hiking spot or camping spot, I will go only there. Okay. Sameness and structure. My routines are more like efficiency systems. Although, when I explain this in detail, okay, I like things to be organized a certain way, and I like they I want things to happen in a well planned out order of operations or sequence. Like it should happen like this, and this. Um, if those systems fail or break, or someone or something gets in the way of them happening in that order, it is distressing to me. I don't like that. It often messes up the rest of it. It's not going to go well. Um, so an example of my mini routines are like, this is the same exactly every single day, Monday through Friday, by the way. Okay. I wake up slowly and groggily and talk to my husband about the day or whatever pops up in my mind at 6 a.m. At 6:30, I go to the bathroom. Um, right after this, on weeks that I have my kids, I will get my boys up first, and then I'll get my daughter up. And then usually I go back in and check with my husband and talk to him a little bit more. And then I go back and check with the kids again and see if they need anything and if they're really getting ready because sometimes they have a problem with that. Um, and then after this, this is when I make the tea. And I'll take the mugs. I have 2 mugs. I get 1, 2. And then I put the one in my right hand down and I turn on the faucet. And then I pick this one back up and I put it underneath the other cup so that when this one's full, oh, you can't even see me. When this one's full, I move it over to the side and then this one fills up and then I turn it off. I always do it the same exact way. And then I take them to the microwave and microwave them for 4 minutes and I take the tea bags out and I put them on the counter. And then I will open either a bagel or an English muffin for my husband so that I can start on his breakfast. And I put that in the toaster oven. And then I get the stuff ready for his lunch. and then the microwave beeps and the tea's ready. So I take the hot water out and I put the tea bags in, and then I throw those little pieces like that were around the tea bags away. And then, like, this is very detailed, but this is exactly how I do it. And then, depending on if it's an English muffin or a bagel, there's other kind of steps that go in between there. But when the bagel is done, I put whatever goes in the middle of whatever it is, and then I put it on the plate and set it aside for my husband because he'll come get it at some point. And then I move on to doing the rest of his lunch, and I make him a sandwich every day with homemade bread that I make myself because it's cheaper and it tastes better and it's real food. So, yeah. Then I make him a sandwich and I set that aside. Where am I at? I make the sandwich and I set it aside. And then I check on the kids again and make sure they're ready. And I get them a snack and get them prepared. And then I get my shoes on and grab my keys. And then I say goodbye to my husband, which, okay, so sometimes I actually get to come back after dropping the kids off. So it'll be this exact thing. Or if we're leaving at the same time, which we haven't been doing recently. If we're going at the same time, it'll be this exact thing. Or if the kids aren't here, it'll be this exact thing. So I always kiss him and hug him and wish him a happy day, tell him that I love him, and then stick my tongue out at him. It's always exactly the same. And writing that out, like, well, here's a mini routine that I know I do. Like, there are certain things that I do the same every single day. So I started writing out the morning and I was like, no, word for word, that is the same way it goes every single morning unless something happens to get in the way. Like this morning, I was like, I need to write all of this out. I need to write all this out because I'm going to have an assessment and I need to write everything out. I need to write everything out. And I'm still doing that. So I started writing it out, and that got in the way of my morning routine. And then, like, everything was kind of chaos. Like, I kept on, like, oh, wait, what am I doing now? Oh, what am I doing now? What's next? I should be doing this. Like, it was just because I didn't go in order. Now, and I always think about what I'm going to do next anyway, but it's so much smoother if it's something that I do specifically in the same exact way every single time. It just goes better if it does it like that. If something gets in the way, like it's frustrating. I already have like tension in my body, you know, but that is the same Monday through Friday, exactly the same. And then the rest of the day depends on what things I really need to get done. But when everyone comes home, the routine's very strict and rigid too. Um, it's like family dinner, and then there's quiet time after family dinner, and like we just have a certain way of doing it. So, and I do have a rigidity on laws, rules, truth, facts, and I do have veracity at general injustice for anybody. I really, that one's like, it's a big one. It causes a lot of stress in my life because there's so many things that are just like not good. Okay, so I also have intense focus on things. I tend to hyper focus on projects and tasks and special interests. I wrote a 19-page proposal in 2 days. I wrote this 16-page document in 2 days. And when I'm in that focus mode, it's very hard to break away. It's the only time I have issues with time awareness is when I'm in this hyper fixated mode. If I'm not constantly like, right now, I'm constantly looking at the clock and I'm like, I haven't had any breakfast. I haven't had any lunch. I'm big into food, so those things matter a lot to me. So I'm trying to like hurry this along. But I'm hyper aware that I haven't eaten. But when I was writing this out, it was consuming. Okay. Um, it like I'll set alarms for really important things like picking up my kids because I need to be on time. Like even if it's something like that, I have a way of doing it. I have to leave the house by a certain time. Otherwise, I know I'm not going to be in line in front of the school to get them. And so I like, yeah, I just have things that I do like that. I have deep and sustained, let me say that word, sustained interests. Okay. So my interests are not too far out of the norm, or I think other people do relate to me, other people like me. Um, uh, my main special interests are the paranormal, religion and spirituality, studying people and psychology, horses, and collecting rocks and bones. So one of my favorite activities is actually going to a specific place to hike that never has a lot of people at all ever, but there's a lot of cool bones to find and a lot of cool nature and a lot of shaded, like awesome areas. It's really cool. And I get really excited when I find a skull, and I have given them away as gifts because, how cool is that? I have a general thirst for knowledge, though. So if I come across something that is puzzling or I don't know, it'll pick at me and nag at me and bother me until I freaking learn about it. Prime example of this was the snow melting in Colorado. And you're like, snow melts, Mariah, whatever. Like, no, I'm saying that it is 22 degrees outside and the snow is melting and things aren't frozen. Like, everyone knows that the freezing temperature point is 32 degrees or 0 degrees Celsius. That's what it is. So we're in Colorado and it's melting, and people are like, oh, it's because you're in a higher elevation. And to me, like, that wasn't an answer. Like, yes, we're in higher elevation. How is that causing everything to melt, though? In a temperature where things are supposed to freeze. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I need to know what that mechanism is. So finally I figured it out. And it's that, yes, the part of it is the elevation, right? Elevation is part of the answer. We are closer to the sun, higher in elevation. So the radiation band waves that's another type of energy, radiation waves, right? And it just so happens that it's enough at this elevation to cause things to melt or not freeze during the day when you have that radiation in effect. Um, I didn't know if you wanted to know that yourself or not, but I'm going to tell it to you. Okay, info dumping. My other special interests may come and go with massive intensity, and I'll be really into something, obsessively learning about it, and then I can become satisfied or disinterested in it, but everything that I learn goes in little data piles in my brain. So they kind of add to, like, if I need to access that for any kind of patterns or knowledge, like, you know, um, and all of these traits I have had since as far back as I can remember. I mean, some of them, and it has been a long time, I apologize, an hour and a half. Whoa. Um, but all of these traits have been around as far as I can remember. Some of them are more developmental, but that's what they're saying. ASD is a developmental disability. So while your brain develops, you develop different things and different habits and different stuff. So my special interests developed over time. My ability to mask developed over time. It's not that, like, I got any better at social stuff. It's just that I got better at masking. And I often, you know, like, it has always been a problem. It has always been an issue. It has always caused pretty substantial problems in my life, being able to function or relate to other people, or, like, if left to my own devices, fine, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? At this age, like, I think if I didn't have my husband and my kids, I would be like, it's fine, I'll just be alone. Like, I'm fine with it. It's okay, really. I can watch Dr. House another 15, 16, 60 times. I don't know. Like, to me, when I watch YouTube or other things, it's like, that's my social time. That's what I can handle. That's what I like. No, there are people that I do enjoy socializing with because of my husband. His family is really nice and really sweet, and they're really easy to be around. And some of my friends that I had for a really long time, but we don't live anywhere near each other, and we don't even talk often. So I feel like that feels good to me. I mean, I would love to see them again. Don't get me wrong, I would, but I just can't be. I have so much going on. I can't be bothered to be socializing. Is that bad or wrong? I don't know. To me, it's too much. It leaves me too drained, too exhausted, too confused. Unless you're going to be like me and be understanding about it and be like, you know what? I don't care about those rules anyway. Like, we can stare at the wall or around or my lizard or the kitty or whatever. Like, watch movies and TV shows together and just like sit there and repeat the lines like that. I'm good. That's my that's my brand of socializing right there. Like, that's what I want to do. Anyway, if you can relate to any of those things, or if you have similar stories, please leave a comment down below if you're interested in knowing more about this journey that I'm going on, because, like, again, it's a journey. Like, I became aware that I'm neurodivergent and that, I'm most likely autistic. So I'm in that I self actualize my, like, I'm going to say ADHD because that's what I think fits the best. Um, and like, the next one that you'll see is probably, it might be a lot. Well, I might come up with something between now and then. But I am going to get an assessment. It is going to be pretty soon. It's a while, but it's pretty soon, like within a month. Okay. So, and I want to do a video before. Oh shoot, I won't be able to do that. I'm leaving for a week. Sorry. Yeah, maybe I won't. I'll definitely do a video when I get back. So when I get back, oh, and I'm gonna be exhausted because that's airplane travel with airports and all that. I Okay, so I get home one day and then the very next day I have my assessment, and then the very next day after that I take my boys to their doctor to see if we can get assessed or referred for an assessment, but they have very apparent issues. So I'll probably lose my shit if I don't. But the day after that or whatever, I will try to film a video and tell you how that the first part of the assessment went, which is a 4-hour thing. So that'll be the next video that you see. And it depends on when this is. There probably won't be a link right here for now, but, and I'll put one of my first videos up here, but in the future. So if this is sometime in May, you'll see a video over here. If you're seeing this video, that'll be like talking about like what I did to prepare for the assessment, other than this huge document that I made. And I'll say how the first part of the assessment went, which is a four hour 4 hour assessment. And then I have another 2 hour one after that. But I will, yeah, I'll tell you how that goes, and we'll do a video on that next. And I hope you all enjoyed watching, although I don't know anyone that would still be around right now. It's like an hour and 40 minutes of me just blah, 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 blah. And this is why I have a hard time with this, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I mean, if you're still here, oh my gosh, bless you. Anyway, awkward.